tingling.
What does the Catholic Church say about religious freedom, and how does this oppose what Democrats have to say about this issue?
These are excellent questions and also very valid concerns. Hello everyone, I'm Captain Catholic, and I hope I'm able to address these important questions of yours. This video is actually part of a larger series discussing various political issues. Often, people will ask the question, should Catholics be Republicans or Democrats? Obviously, the answer to that question is that Catholics shouldn't be either Democrats or Republicans. This is because the Catholic Church has many strong viewpoints that oppose the views of both Democrats and Republicans, depending on the issue. So throughout this series, we'll be taking a look at how the views of the Catholic Church oppose each political party on selected issues. Specifically, throughout this series, we'll look at how the Catholic Church opposes the Republican Party on the issues of war and military spending, gun control, capitalism and the role of the government in helping the poor, immigration, and climate change. We'll also be taking a look at how the views of the Catholic Church oppose the Democratic Party on the issues of abortion, stem cell research, euthanasia, and religious freedom. This particular video will focus on religious freedom. So, let's begin. Religious freedom is something that our country is very familiar with. Nevertheless, religious freedom is currently under attack in the United States in multiple ways. First, let's start off with a few quotes from the Catholic Church. Pope Francis has stated, "I would like to reflect with you on the right to religious freedom. It is a fundamental right which shapes the way we interact socially and personally with our neighbors whose religious views differ from our own. In a world where various forms of modern tyranny seek to suppress religious freedom, or, as I said earlier, to try to reduce it to a subculture without right to a voice in the public square, or to use religion as a pretext for hatred and brutality, it is imperative that the followers of the various religious traditions join their voices in calling for peace, tolerance, and respect for the dignity and the rights of others." The Second Vatican Council declared, "The human person has a right to religious freedom. This freedom means that all men are to be immune from coercion on the part of individuals or of social groups, and of any human power, in such wise that no one is to be forced to act in a manner contrary to his own beliefs, whether privately or publicly, whether alone or in association with others, within due limits." So as you can see, the Catholic Church views religious freedom as a basic human right. People should not be forced to do something that goes against their own religious beliefs. Unfortunately, there have been some specific instances in which members of the Democratic Party have not respected the right to religious freedom of the Catholic Church. While there are actually many examples of this, there are two specific instances which I'll focus on in particular. So, first off, the Migration and Refugee Services, otherwise known as MRS, is an official department of the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops. MRS helps a number of populations, including refugees, undocumented immigrants, migrant and refugee children, and human trafficking victims. In fact, MRS is actually the largest resettlement agency in the United States. As such, MRS resettles approximately 30% of all the refugees that arrive in the U.S. each year. So obviously, the work that MRS does is absolutely crucial for helping refugees, undocumented immigrants, and other people who are fleeing their homes in search of a better life. Without the help of the Catholic Bishops' MRS department, the United States wouldn't be able to help nearly as many immigrants and refugees as it currently does. Since MRS does such a good job at what they do, the government has given MRS numerous federal grants and contracts over the years. In fact, out of MRS's $71 million budget, $66 million, or about 93%, has come from federal grants and contracts. Obviously, without these grants and contracts from the government, MRS simply wouldn't be able to function. But unfortunately, in 2015, the ACLU filed a lawsuit against the government for giving federal grants and contracts to MRS. The reason for the lawsuit was that the ACLU wanted MRS and other religious organizations to provide contraception and abortion services to refugees and immigrants, something that the Catholic Church is religiously opposed to. Unfortunately, various Democrats in the government and across the country supported the ACLU's lawsuit and wanted to see funding taken away from MRS. In discussing their lawsuit, The ACLU stated, "Some of these organizations impose their religious beliefs on these teens by denying them access to contraception, emergency contraception, and abortion." Well, first off, I don't really see how contraception is a need. Immigrants and refugees are trying to escape war and poverty. They need food, water, clothing, and medical attention, all of which MRS is providing for these people. They don't need contraception. It just seems a little bit odd to welcome a starving refugee to the United States by saying, "Hello there and welcome to the United States. Here's some food, here's some water, and here's a condom. Please feel free to have sex with as many people as you can find here in the refugee camp. It's the American way." In any case, never mind that contraception just isn't a need to begin with. The main point that we're trying to focus on here is that the Catholic Church is succeeding in helping tens of thousands of immigrants and refugees, making sure that their basic needs are met. When the Church is doing such great work here, why are people pressuring the Catholic Church into going against its basic beliefs by forcing them to offer abortion and contraception? There's really no reason for this, and this is an absolute violation of religious freedom. Now, this is simply one example of how the religious freedom of the Catholic Church has been attacked, but there are countless other examples. The other most significant example would be a mandate by the United States Department of Health and Human Services, otherwise known as HHS, that requires all employers, regardless of their religious beliefs, to provide contraception and abortion-inducing drugs to employees. This mandate was put forth by various Democrats in the Department of Health and Human Services, and it directly violates the religious beliefs of the Catholic Church. Since the Church is morally opposed to both contraception and abortion, providing these services to its employees would force the Church to do something that is directly against its beliefs. There's really no reason why the Catholic Church should be forced to do something that goes against its religious beliefs, something our country is supposed to protect. So in closing, these are just a few examples of how various Democrats have directly attacked the religious freedom of the Catholic Church. Alright, so that just about ends our coverage on how the Catholic Church's views on religious freedom oppose the views of Democrats on this issue. Be sure to check out any of the other videos in this series to see how the Catholic Church opposes each political party's views on other selected issues. So, what were your thoughts on the issues presented in this video? Please feel free to discuss your thoughts on these issues in the official Captain Catholic Facebook group, Captain Catholic Wants You. All people of goodwill are welcomed and encouraged to join the discussion, regardless of your religious or political views. Please just remember to be respectful and kind to all people in the group, regardless of whether or not they agree with your views. Also, feel free to check out the official Captain Catholic website, CaptainCatholic.com, for more videos. And before we go, just one final thought on this video. Please be aware that in this video, I was not attempting to give you a comprehensive summary of the Catholic Church's teachings on these issues. That would take hours, even more time than I wasted of yours already. So for time's sake, I tried to simply give you a few brief quotes that effectively highlighted some of the Catholic Church's teachings on these issues. Nevertheless, despite being brief, I'm sure these quotes show you how the Catholic Church directly and clearly opposes views held by both the Republican and Democratic parties. So hopefully you can use this video as a starting point to learn more about the Catholic Church's teachings on these issues in depth. Thank you so much for watching. And regardless of whatever your personal views may be, I will be sure to keep you in my prayers, and I wish you a fantastic day. Peace be with you.